Okay, good evening, everybody. This is the advertised time and the advertised place for the February 15th, 2024 Planning Board meeting. I hope everybody had a nice Valentine's Day. Please stand and join me in the pledge. Okay, thank you and welcome. We do have a couple public hearings tonight, so people at home can get in on the public comment via Zoom. And our first public hearing is 1309 OCR Automobile Dealership Public Hearing with Greg Berman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. For the record, Greg Bergman, Senior Planner with the Riverhead Planning Department. This is a public hearing for a site plan application which is seeking to redevelop an existing commercial site with a new approximately 18,000 square foot automobile dealership, along with related site improvements including parking, lighting, landscaping, drainage, and new water and sanitary connections. Subject property is located at 1309 Old Country Road in Riverhead within the Business Center Zoning Use District, and is more particularly described as Suffolk County Tax Map number 600-122-2-2.1. Just a brief bit of history on the application. The application did receive relief from the Zoning Board of Appeals for a number of variances. Those appeals were granted by appeal number 23-048, dated November 9th, 2023. And this board, by resolution number 24-007, dated January 18th of 2024, assumed lead agency and issued a negative declaration. It is worth noting that since the Zoning Board of Appeals determination was granted, the applicant has performed some revisions to the plan. All of the proposals in the current site plan are within the parameters and within the relief that was granted by the Zoning Board of Appeals, so there's no need for the Zoning Board of Appeals to revisit that. I did receive just now the affidavit of posting and mailing and the proof of postings from the applicant's attorney. So I do have that, and it will be entered into the record of the application. At this point, I will turn the microphone over to the applicant's attorney, Chris Kent.
Thanks, Greg.
Thank you, Greg. Good afternoon, planning board members. My name is Christopher Kent, Farrell Fritz PC, 100 Motor Parkway, Hauppauge, New York. On behalf of the applicant, Dennison Company Holdings. With me today are three representatives from the applicant. We have Keith Buda, Craig Ugrin, Mark Matalota. We also have Anthony Stankinelli, who's the project engineer, Perry Petrillo, the architect for the project, and Amanda La Rosa, a traffic engineer for the project. I also handed up to you earlier, and I'm going to be walking through this, so if you have it, I believe I left it in front of your seats. We can go through it together. The applicant seeks site plan approval from the board to permit the development of a new 17,998 square foot automobile dealership with showroom and office, service bays, on-site parking, lighting, landscaping, drainage, and new connections to Riverhead water and sewer on a 2.07 acre parcel known as 1309 Old Country Road in Riverhead. It's located within the Business Center BC zoning district. Exhibit 1 will help you locate the property on Old Country Road. It also fronts on Osborne Avenue. Exhibit 2 is a tax map locator for the parcel. The aerial photos attached in Exhibit 3 show that the parcel is a highly visible and underutilized commercial property located within the town sewer and water districts. It fronts on 2 roads. It has 216 feet of frontage on Old Country Road, County Road 58, and 389 feet of frontage on Osborne Avenue. The frontage along Old Country Road has an existing curb and sidewalk that will be removed and replaced, and the existing curb cut will be relocated from the western boundary of the property near the Citgo gas station to the eastern end of the property, closer to Rocco's. The frontage along Osborne Avenue extends 389 feet from Riverhead Beverage to the Citgo gas station. As shown in Exhibit 4, the street view the street view from Old Country Road shows the existing sidewalk with no setbacks or landscaping between the sidewalk and the pavement, and the street view from Osborne Avenue that shows the site is wide open without any curbing or sidewalks. This creates a dangerous through lot that is used frequently by drivers to avoid the traffic signal at Osborne and County Road 58 and access Old Country Road from Osborne by crossing over this property. The street view photos of the property from Old Country Road and Osborne Avenue show the existing use and conditions and the various trucks and automobiles stored on site. Also shown on Exhibit 4 are photos of existing site conditions looking from the property toward Osborne Avenue and Apple Honda to the west and across Route 58 toward Eagle Auto Mall to the north. There are also views from the site looking down Osborne Avenue at Riverhead Beverage Center and across the paved parking lot through toward Rocco's Pizza that has no landscaped areas between the two properties. These surrounding commercial properties are for the most part cleared and paved, and you can see on the subject site that in addition to the lack of any proper sidewalks, curbing, and drainage, the existing site is cleared. There are several paved oil and stone and sand and gravel outdoor storage areas and parking areas on the property, and there are several dilapidated buildings that will be demolished. And if you look, there's no landscaping or vegetative buffers currently on the site. Because of the unrestricted access in the heavily trafficked area and the visual impacts of the existing site conditions, the property is currently unsightly and susceptible to unsafe crossover traffic, littering, dumping, and loitering. From the historic aerial photos that are attached as Exhibit 5, if you go to the next exhibit, you can see that the property is nearly completely cleared, except for a small stand of trees in the rear southeast corner of the property adjacent to Osborne Avenue. Although some vegetation has voluntarily grown over the years, the vast majority of the site remains cleared, and there is effectively no non-disturbance buffer between the property and the residential properties to the east. The property was historically used for car and truck sales and storage with minimal improvements over the years, except for the construction of a building extension that's located within 10 feet of the eastern boundary of the property. Exhibit 6 includes photos of properties with commercial uses in the vicinity of the site. To the west, across Osborne Avenue on Old Country Road, is Apple Honda. Directly across from the site on the north side of Old Country Road is Eagle Chevrolet and Eagle Kia. Directly to the east on Old Country Road is Rocco's Pizza, and the neighbor to the southeast along Osborne Avenue is Riverhead Beverage. Application was made by the applicant and relief was granted by the Zoning Board of Appeals, the Town Zoning Board of Appeals, for all variances required for the development of the proposed site plan. The determination of the Zoning Board of Appeals is attached as Exhibit 7, if you take a look in the book. You will note that the determination granting the relief includes two conditions: to screen the proposed use from the neighboring residential properties to the east. It calls for the installation of an 8-foot fence and the installation of landscaped buffers using a minimum of 6-foot arborvitaes. The applicant hereby consents if the planning board elects to include these conditions in its site plan approval. Subsequent to the ZBA's determination granting all of the relief requested by the applicant, based upon the site plan presented at that time, there were some revisions made to the proposed plan to accommodate a change in the dealership that will occupy and operate the property. The revised site plan complies with all of the relief granted by the Zoning Board of Appeals, and in some instances, the revised plans requires less relief than the variances granted by the Zoning Board of Appeals.
Mr. Kent, what materials are they going to be using on the fence between the shop and the neighbors?
The fence materials, we determined the fence materials yet?
And is it chain link or solid vinyl?
Solid vinyl. So the current plan, the revised plans, require less variances than the plans that were approved by the ZBA. The site plan, landscape plan, and fire marshal plan, attached as Exhibit 8 in the booklet, includes a slightly smaller building, reduced from 18,023 square feet down to 17,998 square feet, a reduced FAR, that both the footprint and the FAR comply with the town code, did not require any variances. The plan provides wider the new plan requires wider drive aisles to improve access to the site and internal traffic circulation, yet less impervious surface area is required. The plan now requires less parking. Only 50 parking spaces are required under the new plan, instead of the 60 parking spaces that were required on the prior plan that was reviewed and approved by the ZBA. And the plan now provides 46 parking spaces, where the prior plan reviewed by the ZBA had only 45 parking spaces. The revised plan also provides increased contiguous and parking lot landscaped areas than the prior plan reviewed and approved by the ZBA. Overall, the proposed plan before the board today is better than the plan presented and approved by the ZBA. The proposed plan includes a fence and an enhanced landscaping plan with a dark American arborvitae buffer along the boundary line shared with the residential properties to the east. In addition, there is a 45.5-foot green area to the south that abuts a residential property and Riverhead Beverage. The plan provides for a landscaped buffer up to curbing along Osborne Avenue with a designed 36-foot wide access point from Osborne Avenue, with the limited right turn in and right turn out as access from Old Country Road. The Osborne entrance and exit is critical for safe access to and from the site.
If they're coming from the east, they have to turn at Osborne and come in that way?
Yes. And that's why we wanted to put a very prominent entrance off of Osborne and have a second sign there, because it's needed for directional and public safety to have a sign.
Okay.
The proposed wider access aisles on the site provide safe turning radiuses for the site to be used as a Chevrolet midsize and heavy-duty truck dealership that is to be relocated from across the street. It must be noted that as depicted on Exhibits 3, 4, and 5, there are presently no yards and no landscaping along either the Old Country Road or Osborne Avenue street frontage. Therefore, the addition of the landscaped yards with street trees will be a significant improvement to the property. Attached at Exhibit 9 is the Town Planning Board's resolution from 2017 granting preliminary approval of a site plan application made by the prior owner of the property for a proposed auto showroom and related improvements to the property, including striped parking areas, curbing and sidewalks on Osborne Avenue, landscaping, drainage, and other improvements. The improved plan, however, did not include restoration or creation of any buffers or screening with the properties to the east, and instead allowed a building to remain just 10 feet from the residential property line. In any event, that plan did not advance past the approval phase, and the property has remained in its present use and condition since that time. In comparison to the proposed improvements shown on the prior plan that was approved by the Planning Board in 2017, Exhibit 10 in the book depicts the current proposed plan overlaid on an aerial photo of the site and surrounding properties. The proposed plan provides a much better development plan with improved buffers, landscaping, site access, driving aisles, and parking areas. Attached as Exhibit 11 are colored renderings and proposed elevations for the development of the new Chevrolet midsize and heavy-duty truck dealership. The architect is here. If you have any questions about that plan, when I finish, I'll bring Perry up. Attached as Exhibit 12 is the proposed floor plan for the operation of the dealership. You could take a look at that, and if you have any questions, Perry is here to respond. So in summary, the applicant provides the following additional information. The property in its current condition is severely underutilized, with much of the site being used for disorganized outdoor vehicle storage. This fact, coupled with the general appearance of the buildings and the lack of landscaping and uniform buffers, detracts from the streetscape along both Old Country Road and Osborne Avenue. The applicant submits that the proposed redevelopment of the site will be an immediate and significant improvement to both the productivity of the property and the aesthetics along Old Country Road and Osborne Avenue, and the impact upon neighboring property owners. From an environmental perspective, the development will benefit the surrounding area by connecting to town sewer and water, installing on-site drainage, which is currently lacking on the site, and by adding and maintaining landscaping and consistent buffers where there is currently very little vegetation on the property. The proposed improvements to the property will be a benefit to the area. The proposed impervious coverage will be imperceptible since it is less than the currently cleared area on the site and is also less than many existing car dealerships on Old Country Road. The applicant will provide appropriate drainage throughout and will ensure that all impervious surfaces are properly drained and stormwater will now be retained on site. The proposed undisturbed transitional side yard is an improvement over the current condition, which consists of deciduous trees and shrubs and low-lying vegetation along the southern and southeastern property lines. The plan provides a 45-foot area of sod with 3 columnar cherry trees surrounded by an arborvitae buffer along both the side and the rear property lines. The southern boundary of the property adjoins an existing commercial use, Riverhead Beverage, which has an existing building within 10 feet of the boundary with the same residential uses. The undisturbed transitional yard adjoining the residentially zoned properties to the east is another improvement over the present condition, where there is currently no maintained buffer along the eastern side of the property, which at one time was entirely cleared to the property line. The proposed dealership building will be significantly farther, 55.3 feet, from the eastern property line than the existing buildings that are 10.1 feet and 24.4 feet from the eastern property line. The distance to the building and the new 10-foot wide tree-line buffer with proposed arborvitaes will grow to a height of 20 to 25 feet and provide greater separation to the residential uses than the existing conditions. Notably, the existing commercial use to the east of the property, Rocco's, is almost entirely impervious surface, which has little to no landscaping, and we look to add some buffer between there with some vegetation. So it'll break up the properties with a buffered boundary. With respect to the parking, the variance granted by the zoning of appeals on the original development plan provided 45 striped parking stalls where 60 stalls were required, and the revised plan is 46 striped parking stalls proposed where 50 are required by the code. So the revised plan is a lesser impact and lesser relief required. The applicant, based upon their prior experience operating the proposed type of dealership for Chevrolet midsize and heavy-duty trucks, they believe the 46 parking stalls will be more than sufficient for both expected customers and employee parking needs. So if you have any questions I can answer, you can ask. We also have the project engineer, the traffic engineer, and the architect here, and also 3 of representatives from the applicant.
Yeah, I did have a couple questions. Very thorough presentation, by the way.
Thank you.
Have you guys been to the ARB yet?
Yes, we went before the ARB. We were very well received. Both the materials, the colors, the landscaping plan was well received. And the buffers, the street trees and the buffers along the road front were well received. They have not provided us with a recommendation yet.
Okay. And also, I see you have a lighting plan included in there, but just for the record, the entire site's going to be dark sky compliant? Thank you.
Yes,
That's all I have.
thank you.
Is Is there any tenants or any property use presently now on the site? Any of the buildings?
Well, right now, it's been used just as parking area for vehicles.
Okay.
The buildings do you have some storage in them?
Chris, no mention of signage. The dealership name, whatever, I'm assuming is going to be on the front of the building?
Yes,
Signage
there'll
up
there'll be,
front,
there'll be
up
some,
front?
you want to speak to the signs? There'll be a sign along Old Country Road, and there'll be a sign, a smaller sign, a secondary sign along Osborne Avenue. It's important for that entrance to have signage there so that people know where to enter.
Yeah, I have a question on a couple of the prints. Where you enter and exit out onto Osborne Avenue, there's an island, like a divider island, and then on one of them, I believe it's the landscape one, the island is missing. Which one is it gonna be? Is the island gonna stay there, or is the island gonna, because I'd rather see the island be removed, just for tractor trailers going in and out, it just doesn't become something that gets busted up and,
I will let the project engineer speak to that.
okay, thank you.
Good afternoon, Anthony Stankinelli, Furnaces Engineering, 1601 Vets Highway, Atlantia, New York. Civil engineers for the project. So the island is shown on the site plan because it's striping. The striping separates the in and out. It also connects the crosswalk that goes across. The landscaping plan doesn't show any of the striping on the site, so the striping will be there.
But not curbing.
There's no curbing because the
Okay.
trucks need to
Yeah,
access
that
in
was
and
my
out.
point.
Right, so
So
it's
it's just-
flat, it's just striping to direct traffic.
Perfect. And will there be any access from your parking lot into Rocco's, or?
Well, per our conversations with an adjacent property owner, and that would alleviate too much parking for them. They have their parking all along that property line, and there's not many stalls for them. So if they gave us the cross-access, they lose half their parking. Nor do we have any intention, or need for cross-access to them. We don't have cross-access to the gas station. That was already confirmed.
One quick question on the entrance and exit off Osborne. You guys aren't going to create a turning lane from the north into, it's just keep the original turn
Regular
lane?
town road, yep.
The water and sewer are off Osborne Avenue?
No, the water is going to come off Old Country Road,
Oh, okay.
right almost to the right-hand side of the site. There's an existing water main we're going to feed into.
Oh, okay.
And then it's going to go right into that, the northeastern side of the building.
The sewer line?
Sewer line is off of Osborne Avenue.
Osborne.
We have a sewer main running the whole
Right.
length. We are also speaking with the neighboring property owner to help them connect a potential sewer from their property through an easement through our property, so they could also connect to the sewer.
Who's that?
Rocco's Pizza.
Oh, okay.
Any other questions, gentlemen?
That's it.
Anybody from the public like to speak on this public hearing? Heather, do we have anybody waiting on Zoom? Okay.
All right, I move we close the public hearing.
Second?
Moved and seconded, may we have a vote? Mr. Zolnicki?
Yes.
Mr. Hogan?
Yes.
Mr. Nenaro?
Aye.
Mr. Bear?
Yes?
And I vote aye, the motion is carried. Good luck.
Chris, nice job with that. Good job.
All right, we were going to have a public hearing on Maris Farm subdivision, but apparently it wasn't posted properly, so we will have a resolution later coming up with a new public hearing date. Just let this guy clear out. Okay, moving on to our first discussion item is furniture minor subdivision extension with Matt Charters.
everybody doing today?
Doing good.
All right, so just to update the board, way back in 2015, by resolution 0045, May 21st, 2015, the planning board did approve this minor subdivision. It's to create 2 lots at 84 Park Road into two 12,000 square foot lots. It required relief from the zoning board at the time, which they got. The applicant, Ms. Graham, who's sitting with us today, worked to get that approved with the health department. Unfortunately, that took some time. She had to purchase sanitary credits, so that's kind of what's been going on in
Had to buy credits?
to buy credits. Credits have been purchased. Health department has approved the map back in October of 2023. The zoning board of appeals decision that granted the relief for the undersized lots expired. Ms. Graham's made a new application to the zoning board that was approved on January 25th of this year by Appeal 2023-60. So that was kind of the last thing to button this up.
Is that a county credit or town credit?
I think it would be a county credit,
County credit.
sanitary, Pine Barrens credit. But, going back to the zoning board was the last thing she needed. I know it's a lot of extensions. The board's allowed to, to grant them to bring things current. Just to give the board a little clarity, nothing has changed on the property. It's still the same subdivision map. The zoning is the same. The improvements are the same. So, it's just how it was in 2015, just a long process, unfortunately. This
There was
happened.
an issue in the report about pillars or something on the property.
Yeah.
Which were taken
Yeah.
care of.
That's done?
I had both the highway department and the building supervisor out to the property, and we took down the pillars, and the mulch parking area was bluestoned over with their approval. So that was the changes, and I have the certificates of occupancy and all that. It was just a long road to get here.
Yep.
What was the reason that they asked you for Pine Barrens credits?
Well, after I left you all back in, I think it was 14 or 15, I had to argue in front of the health department as to the offset of water, since they're bringing, if I was to bring back this property to its original state, which it was, there was a tax lot for that number back then. So after arguing and getting their decision, they told me I had to purchase a .8 Pine Barrens credit, which I don't know if you know how much Pine Barrens credits are going for. And to even find a .8, most of them, they want to hold on to them for larger projects. So for me to even find it and purchase it took a while. And by then, I had to start the process again and come back to you all.
Okay, I thought it might have been because of the new regulations with the AI systems. They might have given you relief from that.
Oh no, I had no relief whatsoever. None.
So we do have a resolution on today to extend, which will allow Ms. Graham to go to the health department, all the plans stamped, and come back for signature, and then get the maps filed.
Great.
Questions?
I think we're good.
Thank you all very much.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Okay, the next item is Nagel's Barn at Halleckville for discussion with Matt Charters.
Matt, I'll tell you, I had a very difficult time trying to find the location of this because everything shows every building.
Oh, okay. I can,
And this
I can offer you
particular
some-
building wasn't labeled as to what it was.
I
It
hope I
was
can
another
give you
building,
some clarity.
but I found it after a while.
Yeah, I know there's a lot of structures.
A lot
on
of
the
structures
site.
out there.
If you guys can just introduce yourselves for the record.
Good afternoon, Larry Salveson from BBS Architects, 244 East Main Street in Patchogue.
I'm Heather Johnson, Executive Director of Halleckville Museum Farm, 6038 South Avenue in Riverhead, New York.
Okay. Welcome. A little background on the application. This is the Noggles Barn at Halleckville, so it's the westernmost barn on the property that's, almost adjacent to, I think it's the Antique Power, which is the next property owner, White Barn. It's got the quilt painted on the side of it. So we do have a administrative site plan application which proposes interior alterations to the Noggles Barn and Howard Beale Museum Farm, which include the conversion of the existing wagon bay to include bathrooms, a food prep area, interior conditioning, a new sanitary system and water line, and the construction of accessible parking stalls. The proposed action is type 2 pursuant to SECRA. In terms of location, north side of Sound Avenue. I apologize, my report says it's an APZ, it's an RA 80, so that's been corrected already. That's a hangover from an old report. Pretty much all around there, ag production and residential uses. We did refer the plans out to a number of departments. No comments from the town engineer for the parking area. It's going to be pervious pavement with a small enough grade pebble that wheelchairs will be able to go over it. ARB did approve the elevations on the 24th of January. Fire marshal just said they'll need a construction permit at the time when they file for their building permit. Water district, because they're doing a new water line, they did have a key money fee assessed to them in the amount of $3,075.80. And as I said, this is not in the Riverhead Sewer District, so they have to put in a new sanitary system for the bathrooms. They'll just need health department approval prior to getting a building permit. Pretty straightforward. They're going to clean up the outside. If you're familiar, this is where the old Ford trucks parked underneath. So they're just going to enclose that area, reuse one of the windows, put it on the south side of the barn, and that's going to be their prep area. This is where they hold
There's
a lot
been,
of their events.
under traffic access, you have something here that is called 2 accessible stalls.
Correct.
Where are they going to be?
On the, you can see here. Right here. So that's on the western side of the barn. ADA stall here, ADA stall here, and then the adjacent area in the middle.
Are they covered stalls, or what are they used for?
Handicap parking.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's, can you describe the food prep area?
Yeah. My question. Go ahead.
And what is the barn used for? I know you have dances and quilts, but what are the uses that you have or intend to have? And just tell us about the food prep area, please.
So it's not really a prep area, it's like a little kitchenette coffee area. They do hold weddings in the facility in addition to parties, other types of activities. And there's currently no water to the building, no sanitary system. There's an outside toilet building. So the town had made a series of recommendations over the time as an occupied structure to provide bathrooms for this facility. And anytime there's an activity that requires a food service, they're going to be bringing in their own. When they have a wedding, they'll bring in their own food. It's just basically a counter with a sink and a refrigerator, and then there's a mop sink,
Okay.
just for
How
utility.
many square feet would you say that prep room would be?
150 maybe.
There's
It's a linear.
There was no floor plan shown. I didn't receive, maybe he has one, but we've never, did not receive one to see where.
Just want to make sure.
Okay.
Yeah, it should have been in the
Restaurant.
Sure.
So it's all prepared food?
It's all prepared food, yeah. It's just that when they bring it in, they need a place to
Place, yeah.
put it on a counter so that they can serve the people in the main room.
You mentioned wedding music. Music, have you gone over that with them, Matt?
No, because it's on a very limited basis. I mean, we can discuss it if the board would want to put any additional restrictions on the property in terms of any approval, hours of operation. I mean, they'd have to comply with the
Really
noise code
not a lot of
anyway.
houses
Yeah,
around here.
no, there's not much. It's the food prep area is here, correct, in the front?
167 square feet.
It says coffee area on there, so.
It just wasn't clear to us what
Yes.
exactly you were doing. Now we know.
I know you guys do a lot of great small projects, and I thought this would be to accommodate the people that are there, bathrooms, coffee, some donuts and stuff like that.
Pretty much, they have a tea on occasion,
Right.
afternoon tea.
The hope
they have
is
crafts.
to make it so where it's like 12 months a year. We can also have events that are Halleckville historic events, speaker presentations, educational, presentations as well, and not
Right.
just, I mean, obviously the barn dance is great, the country barn dance is fantastic, but, it'd be nice in February to be able to offer events to the public that were educational about the, history of Halleckville.
And, Matt, the parking is gonna be,
So the handicaps to also be on the western side of the
and
barn?
those have to be blacktop?
They do not have to be blacktop. If the stone is a certain size, it's considered ADA accessible.
Okay.
And then the rest of the parking is handled by is it a gravel lot that's in the back? Or,
Yeah, the existing drives are RCA.
Yeah.
And the area we're placing the handicap parking stalls is where the signs are already posted to the building. We're just gonna convert the ground, it's a grass area now, we're gonna put in gravel pave.
That's all gonna be pervious surfaces.
Pervious surface, and then there's a gravel pathway. We were asked to provide a handicapped accessible ramp to access the building that's on the north side as well.
So, have you been to the health department yet?
Yes. The health department, we should receive our approval next week. It's that far along. They just were, there was an application for one of the houses on the property in 2004 that they changed out their cesspool to a new system, and that application was never closed. So we've been assisting with closing that application. So otherwise, the IA that's proposed is completely approved, and we just had to open one of the existing septic tanks for the as-built for the adjacent house.
Now, any exterior work would have to go through the building department?
So exterior, they're painting and they're doing new shingles on the roof.
No window change, the door?
Window change, they're utilizing an interior window.
Yeah.
And there's some facade changes which
So
you
there's,
should
you know,
have.
the western end of the south facade has an open wagon bay right now.
Right.
That's where the truck is parked, and they're taking advantage of that space to provide the toilets so that they don't affect the main open barn space, which is their main assembly area. So we are enclosing that western end of the south wall with siding to match. And we were gonna put a mural of the truck on there as a homage to the truck, but the
Landmarks and historic
Landmarks
board
and-
rather have a
would-
window than a
I
painting.
disagree with them, but
yeah, it was,
I'm gonna
would
miss the
have been a
truck,
cool painting. but-
Yeah.
are the shingles gonna be asphalt or cedar shake?
They're asphalt shingles now, and they've run their life cycle since the barn was moved in 2000, so we're gonna replace them with a similar landmark shingle in the same.
Can't swing cedar shakes up there?
It's asphalt shingle now, I think it's always been asphalt
Yeah.
shingle. It's a 1938 barn.
The ARB had no issue with.
You gonna rip down the old and put new in, or you just gonna?
No, we gotta take them off because part of the reason we're removing them is to insulate the roof. They wanna keep the rafters exposed on the inside, so it remains looking like a barn. So the only way to insulate the roof is to remove the roofing and put on an insulated nail board and the new shingles.
Is there a basement under the barn?
Yes.
What is that being used for? What is it going to be used for anything?
It's,
Storage,
it's storage. So when the barn was moved about 600 feet from the east to the west, and it was placed on a full basement at the time when it was moved in 2000. And it's storage right now, and we're actually reconstructing the stairway that goes down there because it doesn't exactly, there's open risers, doesn't use code, so we're reconstructing it to code.
Right.
And there is a secondary exit to the back from there, in that we're proposing to heat the building. The heating system will go down there, and the new electrical service will go down there, as well as the incoming water service will come into the basement area.
So the
Which I
second,
have, heat.
the secondary means out, does that lead directly to the outside?
Directly to the outside, yes.
Any other questions?
The only thing I have a problem with is maybe the weddings being there. It's,
That's the only question I have,
you know, because there's
you
been
have
an issue with
you
that.
have one a year and it's small, it's one thing, you start having, everybody falls in love with it. We've had a lot of problems you may or may not be aware of, and they've been pretty hefty problems.
Significant, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how long you've been doing weddings.
Yeah,
already
it's
for-
been an ongoing, use of this property for some time. I mean, if the board would want to place a restriction on it, I would say we would take.
My only concern is competing against private industry who's paying
Correct.
taxes and,
You know, I would say that's not the main use of the barn, it might be supplementary, I don't want to speak for the applicant. You know, the town board has considered changes to their special event code, I mean, none of these have been brought forth yet, but there would be potentially a private special event code that they would need to apply for, but
right, but either way, this will be a
Doesn't exist.
Yeah, you know,
pre-existing non-conforming.
we have to make them aware, and we have to put the same restrictions as we
Absolutely.
do with anyone else, unfortunately.
And you would have to get a permit if you wanted a wedding there.
as it currently stands, no, but under the proposed changes, potentially yes. So, I mean, that's up to this board if they want to add conditions or not, related to weddings. I would, you know, I'm sure the applicant could speak to how limited
Is
or
there any,
often they occur.
is there any outdoor music at this point?
Has there been outdoor music in the past? I mean, I've been here for a month, so
Oh,
I
okay.
can't
You wouldn't
speak,
know about it.
you know, yeah, but.
I don't think so, not that I'm aware of. I think everything's inside.
I mean, I've been there a few times to some of the shows. I don't remember
So-
myself, but again, you know, we have to make you aware of what the restrictions are.
And I would say they would have to comply with the noise code no matter what. So that would really govern in this case. I mean, you could limit any of the projection. of outdoor
Could we
music.
put something in the body of the resolution that says they will be subject to any future changes that they make in the,
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
you know, just this way
Amend the
here,
resolution.
you can go as normal, but if the town does
I don't know.
change the code, you'd be subject to those changes.
I think that's a given. Wouldn't that be a correct statement? It's a given once.
Unless they're specifically
No,
exempted.
Yeah,
but
yes.
What I would think, and I agree with that 100%, Ed, what I think we should do is put in there the restrictions that are in place, okay, and making everyone aware that they have to adhere to it. You know, they're in place, you know, you have that corridor on Sound Ave, no music, no this, no outdoor music.
Correct.
We didn't make it, we just have to tell you that it's there.
I don't think music, my personal opinion is, I don't think music's gonna be a problem, because there's no residences next door.
Correct.
Per se. There's never been any complaints that I know of. I'm just concerned about the competition to venues that pay taxes and have weddings.
Yeah, I mean, I would say it's a alternate funding source for the barn for the whole museum as well, not to speak for the applicant, but
Well, we
It's
want you to
something that
make
keeps
money
them-
and be successful,
keep them
but
viable.
Yeah,
it's,
Yeah, no, it's definitely a balancing act.
we don't wanna set a precedence anywhere, you know.
Correct. Well, the use of the property is a museum. Whether or not, you know, having accessory events is, you know, considered customarily an accessory, I think it probably would be. It's not my job to make that interpretation, but
I do want to be clear, we
Yeah.
don't want to become a wedding hall.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a historic site, and that's, you know, we
I
want
don't
to
think that's
be
anybody's
respectful to
intention.
that, and I, you know, it's a very good point, I understand what you're saying, but it's not interested in becoming a wedding factory.
yeah, I understand. I don't know, is there any way, Eric, that we could, you know, come up with an opinion that will make them happy and control how many weddings and et cetera they can have?
Yeah, I can coordinate with Matt on the application, and when you're doing the resolution that comes after this,
so, yeah,
we'll come up with something. Yeah.
yeah, we have a resolution on to approve today,
Yeah.
only because they're on a tight grant deadline. There's a grant money involved with the March 7th deadline.
How many people are you able to hold at one time, you know, by the fire marshal? How many?
96.
96 people.
Yeah, in the main room. So one thing that's a benefit of the project is that right now, it's a wide open barn. So when you open that main barn door, it's open to the outdoors. We are enclosing that with a storefront door so that any of the activities that will be inside will be much more contained than they are now. So, and when there are not activities, the barn door will be closed over so that it looks just like it does when it's not in use.
Is there any residents on the property? Any people living there?
In the apartment in Chicanowitz house?
There is a staff member who lives at the Chicanowitz house, and there is a renter living at one of the smaller properties the small house.
You wanna see if we can get some wording so that we can, approve the resolution? You wanna wait, let these guys, talk about it?
Chairman, that was something I did not anticipate, the wedding part. I think you guys do a great job. Been there, my sister belongs to Halleckville Lane. I did not expect that. That could be something that's, if you let one person do it, why not the next guy or the next guy, like George was saying?
All right, what we can do is move forward and let
And
these
nothing
guys-
against you guys, but
Yeah.
just,
Not right.
No,
I
it's,
think-
We want to help you.
I
again,
understand.
been there many times myself.
So we're gonna move forward, let them have their meeting over there and come to some resolve before the resolution comes
Just
out.
something that we can put into the resolution.
Sure.
Before we approve it.
Yeah, we'll have to amend it.
Okay, in the meantime, are there any public comments on any resolution?
I'll move resolution number 14, Amanda Furniture subdivision.
Second?
Moved and seconded, may we have a vote? Mr. Zilnicki?
yes.
Mr. Hogan?
Yes.
Mr. Nenaro?
Aye.
Mr. Bear?
Yes,
And I vote aye. Motion is carried.
So why don't we just hold
Yeah.
on to
15 a while.
15?
Yeah.
Yeah.
While they work on it. And I'll move resolution 2024-016 for Dry Specio Manufacturers Outlet Center granting a 6-month extension of a preliminary site plan approval. So moved.
Second,
Second.
Moved and seconded, may we have a vote, please? Mr. Zilnicki?
yes.
Mr. Hogan?
Yes.
Mr. Nenaro?
Aye.
Mr. Bear?
Yes,
Before I vote, I just want to say one thing. I was on the zoning board of appeals in the mid-1990s, and this has been around since then. With that being said, yes, I vote yes also. The motion's carried.
I move resolution number 2024-17, Maris Farm subdivision. Resolution to schedule a public hearing on a minor subdivision application seeking approval to subdivide 2 existing parcels.
Second?
Second,
Moved and seconded, may we have a vote, please? Mr. Zilnicki?
yes.
Mr. Hogan?
Yes.
Mr. Nenaro?
Aye.
Mr. Bear?
yes,
And I just want to say this was going to be a public hearing tonight, but apparently it wasn't posted properly, so we're changing the date of the public hearing, and I vote aye.
Resolution 2024-018 transmits recommendation to Town Board, resolution authorizing the transmission of a letter to the Town Board recommending amending the speed limit along the portion of Roanoke Avenue north of Middle Road.
Second.
Moved and seconded, may we have a vote, please? Mr. Zilnicki?
Yes.
Mr. Hogan?
Yes.
Mr. Nenaro?
Aye.
Mr. Bear?
yes.
And I vote aye. I think, Ken, you brought this forward, and I think it's a good idea, I really do.
Yes. Thanks, Aaron.
Are we set to go back to 2024-015
Yeah, so 15,
as amended?
Yes, I just discussed with Eric, so I'm going to point the board, if you have a copy of the resolution in front of you, condition number 2, that the provisions of the town code of the town of Riverhead which are not addressed in this resolution or other official action of the town shall at all times be complied with by the owner of the property covered by the site plan. So that's in there. So that's pointing to all over the codes of this town that are not explicitly listed.
Okay.
That you still have to comply with. Just because it's not on this paper doesn't mean you don't have to comply with the code.
Everybody good with that?
Yeah,
Yes.
Applicant? Did you hear that?
Yes.
You good?
You okay?
All
All right, I'll move resolution 015, granting administrative approval as amended.
second,
On August Bond?
second,
Moved and seconded, may we have a vote, please? Mr. Zilnicki?
Yes.
Mr. Hogan?
Yes.
Mr. Nenaro?
Aye.
Mr. Bear?
yes.
And I vote aye. Thank you. Keep up the good work over there. Public comments on all matters relating to town business? Okay. Somebody want to move the minutes,
Yeah,
please?
I'll move them January 18th, 2024, so moved.
Second,
Moved and seconded, may we have a vote, please? Mr. Zilnicki?
Yes.
Mr. Hogan?
Yes.
Mr. Nenaro?
Aye.
Mr. Bear?
yes.
And I vote yes, the motion's carried. Any other business, staff? Anybody?
Shall we?
Gentlemen, all good?
Kelly, can I say a question?
Mr. Cuddy, do you have something?
Oh, okay.
The next meeting date will be Thursday, March 7th, 2024, at 6 PM, right here. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We have a motion?
Motion to.
Motion adjourned?
Second. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.